the campus community, oh my goodness, Catholic campus ministry. So I got to run retreats the past 3 years for them, and that was a super awesome opportunity as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of different things to get involved with at TCNJ.
Hi, so I'm involved in student government, and I was actually in student government since my freshman year. I'm currently the executive vice president with Patty over here. She's president. Um, and student government really like helped me learn about TCNJ behind the scenes. I got to take an active role in improving my academic experience and the academic experience of my peers. So it's really cool to be part of that. I'm also a college ambassador, so I give tours, I walk backwards on campus, and I help the admissions office and I'm involved in TCNJ musical theater. So they put on musical theater shows.
So hi everyone. I realized I forgot to say my hometown in the last time. So my hometown is Parsippany, New Jersey. If anyone goes to Parsippany, but some of the things I'm involved in, like Suchir said, I am involved in student government. That's one of the organizations that I've fell in love with as a freshman and continued it all 4 years of my college experience. I also am a college ambassador, and I think that being a college ambassador was just something so rewarding because I got to meet prospective students, I got to meet people in state and out of state, I got to give tours to potential candidates, I got to give tours to faculty and administration staff, so I just get to meet a wide variety of people. I get to tell them why I love TCNJ, why I chose TCNJ, and other things that I'm involved in as well. I'm involved in Greek life. I'm involved in a social sorority, so I'm involved in Kappa Delta, but I'm also involved in a professional fraternity called Delta Sigma Pi. That's geared towards building up my resume, building up, helping me find jobs, alumni networking, mentorship, stuff like that. And the last thing I'm involved in is Barkada, which is a fellow organization on campus. I'm not Filipino, but I love the idea of Barkada because it is such a cultural based organization. I love learning about other cultures. I love getting immersed in that aspect. And I just think it's really fun just learning about how other people kind of grew up and how they are able to still hold on to their culture and their heritage.
Yeah, I think for me, some of the things I was totally involved in throughout my 4 years at TCNJ. One thing my sophomore year, I got involved in Greek life, as Patty said. So I've been involved in social fraternity. It's called Alpha Epsilon Pi. That really opened up my social outlet on campus, and it allowed me to also get a leadership role. So within the fraternity, I was able to be the fundraising chair for a semester. So that kind of taught me grassroots of like what the fraternity is about. We do a lot of philanthropy on campus. I'll probably get into that a little later if I have time. But with that, it taught me a lot with how to handle the money with the fraternity and how to just get one of my first leadership roles on campus. Along with that, I said in my intro, I'm a Spanish minor at TCNJ. And one of the coolest things was finding out that there's a Spanish club at TCNJ. So going to that and meeting people who, a lot of Spanish minors, similar interests to me, that was definitely a really cool club for me to get involved in. And as my three peers have told you guys, there's so many, we all listed different ways of getting involved on campus. I don't think one of us like listed the same org that we're in, and that just shows you the numerous opportunities that are already get involved. And there's definitely ways to find your niche, find your group, find your people.
Okay, great, thanks. And obviously they're all orientation leaders on my staff, which I'm so grateful for. That's a paid position at the college. And there's, in addition to kind of all those extracurricular pieces, there's that student employment opportunity to give back in a lot of different ways and earn a couple dollars. So I know that'll come up a little bit later in the conversation too, but thank you all so much. That was really helpful. So now we're gonna move into something that hopefully you students on the call is not an unfamiliar term. We call it the TCNJ signature experiences, right? And we find that a lot of students will end up choosing TCNJ just because they have an opportunity as an undergraduate student to be able to do some really cool things with their education. We are very big on promoting opportunities to study abroad. Undergraduate research is a big thing for us. Leadership in a host of different ways, whether that's leadership inside the classroom or outside of the classroom, is really big. That type of undergraduate research, undergraduate kind of educated, specific, tailored experience that you're going to have in the classroom from an academic perspective as well, like personalized and collaborative education. And what's the fifth one I'm missing? Don't know. It's somewhere here, but we're going to have it come up. Research and employment and those opportunities. So I really wanted to take a couple minutes, and I polled when the five of us sat down yesterday to kind of prepare for the webinar tonight. I was like, all right, so I remember you did X, did you do Y? And I again was like, oh gosh, they have done so much that we could spend an entire hour talking about that, but we wanted to really kind of fine tune and drill in on a couple of things that they can speak to personally. So why don't we start with study abroad? Alden did a full semester in Spain, and Patty took advantage of our Maymester and our winter term study abroad opportunities. The really cool thing about TCNJ is that if you know you want to go away for an entire, and yes, study abroad will be back. I'm not sure when, but I know it's coming back. But if you are interested in, it's cool because if you want to do that full immersion experience for 4 months, you can do it. And Alden's going to talk for about a minute on that. But for students that might not have the opportunity or really the desire to go away for that long, we have really cool opportunities for like 3-week courses in May and in January over the winter term. And Patty actually did 2 of those. So they're going to talk for a bit about that. So Alden, you're up.
Yeah, for sure. This was definitely a topic I was like super stoked to be able to talk to you guys about. It was coming into TCNJ as a freshman. It was something I knew I wanted to do at school, was study abroad. But it's I don't know how you guys feel about it, but for me, it was something that was like so overwhelming to think about. Wow, how am I going to go overseas and like study? How is this all going to like fall into place and get planned? But like the coolest thing about TCNJ in this regard for study abroad was that they were there every step of the way with me to help me figure out where I wanted to go and how they were going to make it happen. So throughout my freshman year, I think I went to 2, at freshman and sophomore year, I went to 2 study abroad info sessions, and those are super helpful. Students who had study abroad were talking to me, and I was able to ask any questions I wanted, and I felt super comfortable after hearing them that this was something that was doable for me. Speaking a little bit about the experience, I went to one of our most popular programs if you want to go to a Spanish-speaking country is to go to Spain and to study. And we have a program in the city called Alcalá de Henares. It's 20 minutes from Madrid. I was able to do 4 months there, and all my credits from TCNJ when I took the class abroad transferred right back. It was super easy, and I felt like my Spanish just jumped like levels. So it was so amazing to be able to take fundamental baseline classes at TCNJ in Spanish, learn enough, but I started getting to the point where I was frustrated with the language, and I felt like it wasn't going anywhere. You're in class for maybe like 2-3 hours a week, and then I wasn't practicing it. But when you're in another country, you realize you need to learn the language to be able to have fun. So just spending the 4 months, meeting the people I did, and being able to come back and be like, wow, my Spanish is at a new level where I can take this into the business world and really excel and meet new friends and stuff. And I wouldn't be able to do any of that without TCNJ planning it for me. So that was definitely the highlights of my experience.
So for me, I wasn't like Alden in that I couldn't commit to going away for a whole semester. I kind of felt like if I went away, I'd be like missing out on a lot of things on campus. So it's just like a differing opinion depending on, I don't mind being away from home, but I knew that I was really just hesitant going away for a whole semester because there were so many leadership opportunities and so many classes and different events that I just didn't want to miss. So I definitely took advantage of the summer semester and the winter semester. The first time I studied abroad was my freshman summer. So I came in freshman year of 2016 or something like that. And I studied abroad summer of 2017. So going into my sophomore year. And I think that just really shows that you can study abroad at any single point of your college career. A lot of people also think that there's a misconception thinking that, oh, I'm this so-and-so major, or I'm this and this, and because I'm this major means I can't study abroad. We actually have study abroad programs that are tailored to every single major. So if you are a nursing major and it is a little more rigorous because your classes are set in stone, the Maymesters or the winter semesters are great ways to get involved and great ways to still study abroad. And there are definitely specific classes that you can take that will help you graduate on time as well. So that's definitely a misconception that I just wanted to clear up, because I know like when I was looking at study abroad, I know when a lot of people look at study abroad, they're like, I can't go away for a whole semester, or I can't go away because I'll be behind and I won't graduate on time. That's definitely not the case. And the second time I went abroad was this past winter. So I went to South Africa, and both times I studied there, I took classes with faculty. So I had faculty from TCNJ travel with me to the country. They taught me in the country, and they also took me to different excursions. I learned so much about the culture and the history, and of course the class that I was learning. And I think that the best advice I could give people about studying abroad is just to keep an open mind about it, and to really step out of your comfort zone. Of course, it's going to be difficult, being immersed in a different culture. Coming to TCJ is going to be similar in that sense, because your culture back home is going to be a lot different than the culture at TCNJ. But studying abroad, it really opened my eyes up, and for lack of a better term, it really did make me such a more well-rounded citizen. I don't know how else to say it, but it really got me thinking about the world around me and how everything connects. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, and I wish I took more time and took advantage of going abroad more.
Great, and we did have a quick question about fees and scholarships. So I'm pretty sure there are some scholarships out there. Nod, yes. Alden, Patty, probably, or Suchir, or Alyssa, if you know the answer to that. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's scholarships that you can apply for. I know, and there are a lot of them too, and they're all listed on the website. Another misconception that people have is that the price of going abroad is going to be more expensive than your tuition, but it's actually not. The price going abroad will never exceed the amount you would pay for TCNJ, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people also get afraid that oh my God, if I go abroad, I'm going to be spending so much more money than I would be at TCNJ. And that's not the case.
Yeah, I think tuition dollars, it's less or equal, right? And I think it's just the travel piece, right? So you get abroad and the cost is there, but then you want to take a weekend to go to Italy, or you want to take a weekend to go to England. And I think that the cost adds up when it comes from a point of the fact that you're just so close to be able to travel to see different cultures within Europe or wherever you are in the world studying. So thank you, Patty, for addressing that, because those were definitely some questions we were getting there. Okay, I want to move to Suchir next. So a couple things that Suchir is going to touch on. First, if you don't mind, you have done some on-campus research, which I think is something that we always get a lot of questions about. And you're also a member of our honors program, and we always have a host of, I've gotten several honors questions in the past webinars that I've done over the last couple of weeks. So if you can touch base on each of those for a little bit, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. So on the research bit, I'm doing research this semester on for one of my communications classes, and it was really cool because I never thought that I would actually do any kind of research at TCNJ, just because I wasn't personally interested in it, and I didn't think that my major would align with it. But I'm in a communications class for public health. I'm not a communications major or a public health major, but I'm still in this project doing research, and it's really cool to just work with your peers and take whatever you learn in the classroom and actually apply right away into a real life scenario, and observe different trends. Our current research project is observing media trends and coverage of the coronavirus in the United States. So it's especially relevant right now. And it's cool because my professor was the one who kind of initiated us to be involved in this. So I think you'll find a lot of your professors, especially the ones that have been they're adjuncts and they have a lot of experience in the real world, they'll really go the extra mile to make sure you're involved in research projects and learning outside the classroom. So that's really cool. I really hope that I get to do it again next year, my senior year, but it's been a good experience right now. For honors, I am in the honors program right now, and I think a little bit about the basic things you need to know when you're entering freshman year. So you have 5 requirements for the honors program, and you can take those as an honors class, or you can do an honors by contract, which means you can convert one of your actual classes into an honors class, and it counts to your requirements. So you have additional components that you have to complete every single semester. And then there's also networking opportunities. Your freshman year, you get to dorm with all the other honors students, so you get to know the people in that community, and they constantly give different opportunities for research and different opportunities around campus in general. And I think that it's been really good to have that community right from the start, because you're dorming with them, and Centennial had honor students and honor students in the Women in Learning and Leadership program. So you're kind of going through the additional requirements together. So in the end, it's not that bad. But it did definitely help me kind of elevate my learning style and academic experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Alyssa, I'm going to have you just talk for briefly about your student teaching experience. So if we have any School of Education students coming in on the call tonight, you know, you're dual majors here at the college and you have a whole lot of things to juggle in addition to this awesome student teaching and practicum and all those good things. So Alyssa, why don't you chat about that for a little bit?
Yeah. So yes, if you're an elementary education major, you are a dual major. So myself, I am a dual major. I have iSTEM as well as elementary ed. If you're secondary ed, technically you are two majors. So that's just something to keep in mind because you walk with and you graduate with the people of your content major, I guess you could say. But for the most part, all School of Ed people have 4 different practicum/student teaching experiences. You will get into a classroom as early as sophomore year of college, which in my opinion, that was like one of the big things that stood out to me from TCNJ. I've wanted to be a teacher for almost ever, it feels like. But something about that, like that I was able to get into a classroom almost right away was super exciting for me. I had 4 different student teaching experiences. All of those ranged from K to 8 just because of my secondary specialization is in middle school science. So because I have that middle school specialization, I was able to be in a middle school for my student teaching experience, which is actually where I currently am. Of course, I'm teaching remotely just like you're learning remotely right now. So it's a little bit crazy. But yeah, the 4 experiences are super exciting. I was able to see anywhere from a kindergarten class to a 5th grade classroom. And of course now I'm teaching my little 6th graders. So it's definitely really exciting. And honestly, it's an amazing opportunity to not only see what grades you want to teach, but also to kind of see the differing levels of the students as they go through their experience in school. You know, the child development and the pedagogy changes as you go and as the kids get older. So it's something really exciting to see. And it definitely was helpful in the sense of helping me decide that I wanted to teach middle school rather than teach elementary school. So student teaching, really exciting, amazing opportunity, and the 4 experiences are something that you'll take into your job search as well as your career.
Awesome. Thanks, Alyssa. And then that segues really nicely. So all 3 of the rest of the panelists have done some type of internship, whether they have one now or whether they had one in previous years. They probably have had multiple. So why don't we go down the row from where I see it? So Suchair, Patty, Alden, and why don't you just like really touch on kind of where you've had your internship and you know how that's kind of fit into the broader picture of well, I mean, if you don't know yet, that's perfectly okay. But you know, if it led to a job, I think it did lead to a job for one of or 2 of you. And Suchair, you're still a junior, so you're still here with us for 1 more year. But if you want to just really kind of touch on the types of internships you've had the opportunity to have at TCNJ, that'd be great.
Yeah, so after my freshman year, I did something called Summer Community Leaders, and it's a program that pairs you up with a nonprofit in Trenton. So every single Wednesday, you'll have a meeting with all the other people in the program, and you'll talk about like what you've been learning and experiencing. But for me, I was paired with Arm in Arm, and they do workforce development, hunger prevention, and workforce development and hunger prevention for citizens in Trenton and the local area. But it was really cool because like it was right near TCNJ campus, and I didn't get to experience that part of like Ewing and Trenton until I actually did that job. And you realize there's like the whole world out there that you like never even knew about. And I think it just made me like really aware of the community around me. And then my sophomore year into my junior year, I did something called the College Enhancement Internship. So they pair you up with a department or office on campus, and you'll essentially like fill some capacity in that office. And I think that was really cool because I didn't have a car my sophomore year. So it was nice to have that internship experience and like work those hours without having to like commute off campus. It was really convenient, but it was also nice to just like learn more about like TCNJ. And it was international recruitment, and I was working as an ambassador too. So it's a lot of like admission stuff from like every single side. And then my current internship, I'm at the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education. And again, that's like local, so I work in Trenton, but that's like, I've learned that I really like state government. I really like those kind of policies. And I think that's like definitely been the most eye-opening on like what I want to do in the future. But I think Trenton, especially if you're into nonprofits and politics, like it's a really great place to, and government, like it's a really good place to be.
So I've had 3 different internships throughout my time at TCNJ. So my first internship was sophomore year. It was like sophomore fall. I got an internship working at the New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce. It's a lobbying organization located in Trenton. And that was really cool because, as I said before, I'm a double major. So it helped me see kind of what I liked and didn't like about like political science. I decided to do that internship because I was able, it's a lobbying organization for businesses. So it's kind of blending the two fields together. And through that internship, I really learned a lot. I gained a lot of connections from state assemblymen and women to senators and stuff like that. So it was a really cool experience to really meet everyone and meet the local state political politicians and stuff like that. So then after I did that internship, I was like, maybe I should try and see if I can do a finance internship. So I did an internship at KPMG. For those of you who don't know, it's a Big Four accounting firm. I did it not in accounting, but in finance. I did valuations there, and I really enjoyed it. I did the internship while I was still in school. So I would commute back and forth. I commuted from Short Hills, New Jersey, if anyone knows what that is. It's about like an hour and a half away from TCNJ. But I basically did that during my winter of junior year. And then after I did that, I did an internship at Prudential my junior summer. So just last summer. And I worked in Newark, and I was able to, again, all of them were very different. All of them pertain to different fields. And then as Lindsay said before, like my job at KPMG, my internship did turn into a full-time job offer. So I'm going to be working there whenever the coronavirus is sorted out. But I'll be in New York doing valuations, of course. And I don't know when I'm going to start, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, definitely going off what Patty's saying. Internships are really cool. Like going into TCNJ, I didn't really even know what an internship was. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I had no idea like that this was a big deal. And that was one of the coolest things, having a twin brother going into college with him, because he's a poli-sci. He was a poli-sci econ double major at the time. And in local government, it's very crucial to get internships like right away, just to know kind of where you want to go, because there's so many sectors that you can go into in the real world with that. So he was getting internships like freshman year, and I was like, Garrett, like that's really cool, but like what is this, like why do I want to do this? And he was really cool explaining to me that internships is the coolest thing to try out a job. And the coolest thing about it is it's a way to see, okay, great, if you like this job, if you like this role you're in with the company, or if you don't, it's a way to see, do I want to move forward and build with this, or maybe this isn't something I'm really into. So sophomore year, I was starting out looking for internships. I found this really cool company located in Trenton, so a local company. They're called TerraCycle. So what they do is, it's a global company that recycles hard to recycle goods. So two of the biggest companies that we were working with, I was on the brand development team. So we were looking for new businesses that could recycle their waste that had never been recycled before. Two of the biggest companies we work with are Nestle Waters and Gerber, the baby products. So I was able to like see like what this company does, how their business marketing team works and functions. And it was an unpaid internship, and that was daunting to me at first. But so the difference between unpaid internships and paid, sometimes when it's your first internship, or companies don't necessarily want to pay to have interns, but the coolest thing that they do, and they can work with your college, is they offer credit. So TCNJ is really flexible with that, where you can earn credit for having an internship, and that can go towards course credit. So while you think like it might be worthless to be not getting paid in this role, it's actually benefiting you so much because you're earning credit, and it really shows you're in a valuable spot. And I honestly believe that from that internship, that helped me get my second internship. So then my summer going into my senior year, the summer before my senior year, I got an internship with AT&T working with their business to business sales. And that position was in Texas. So I got to go to Dallas for 2 months and be with 50 other interns. And I honestly don't know if I would have got this position if I didn't have my connections in the business school, and if I didn't have this first unpaid internship. So it's a really cool way to just see what you like, see what you don't like, and definitely grow.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. You know, a lot of questions rolling in about the internship piece. Are you guaranteed one? Is it required? And the answer is no, you're not guaranteed one. No, it's not required. Well, maybe required for certain programs. But I think the key takeaway from just the students talking about that is that the Career Center should not be a place that you go junior year when you wake up and decide, uh-oh, I'm probably going to need to like do something and figure out what I want to, ultimately do when I'm done with college. The cool thing about TCNJ, and I didn't go to TCNJ undergrad, so I had a completely different experience. And I wish that somebody had taken a bat and hit me over the head and said, hey, you should go to the Career Center your first year, because things could have looked a little bit different for me. But that we really stress here that like that first year you should be in there. And a lot of the every new student takes a seminar course their first semester at the college, and you have an 099 course through your major that's going to kind of walk you through some of those bigger picture conversations. And a lot of times those classes will bring in Career Center reps to come in and talk a little bit about the process, right? So it might be, and I don't know how many of you, show of hands, there's too many of you to do that, but on the call, maybe you don't know what you want to do, right? That's okay. That's okay too. A lot of people think they can't go to the Career Center until they've got it all figured out and they're ready for the internship or to have the resume or looked at or to practice the interview questions before they go in. But they do career exploration, they do personality testing to see what kind of, what are the types of skills that you have and what kind of jobs would be really good for those types of skills. So they're a really great resource on campus. And I think just to kind of reiterate what the students said, like that's not something that you should be waiting on, and you don't have to at a school like TCNJ because of our size, which is really nice. All right, I'm gonna scroll through here. I think that this question is pretty easy, but we'll keep it panelists just due to time to like maybe 30 seconds ago, but why TCNJ? I don't know how many on the call tonight have already kind of sent that deposit in and they're like, yes, TCNJ, I'm enrolling, this is where I want to be. But I would like to think that there's probably some on the call who might be down to their final 2 or 3 decisions or, school choices. And we know the group, right? We know you all, you get into some pretty amazing schools and they're kind of on the fence about where they should be depositing come May 1st. So really quick, 30 seconds, why TCNJ for you specifically? And we'll start with Alyssa and work our way down.
Okay, I was definitely one of those people that was like rah rah TCNJ from the start. So I loved the school from the beginning. I think the biggest reason why I came here was, of course, I've said it 15 million times and I'll say it again, I'm an ed major, I want to be a teacher. And I knew coming to this school, I would get a job, no problem. I've had principals tell me specifically that they have resumes from different schools all over the state, all over the nation, and they make a TCNJ pile and another pile. It's true. It's been said so many times. And I haven't even graduated yet, and I already have a job in a school district for September. So to me, that was something that coming into college, I knew I wanted a job. I knew I wanted to get my foot in the water, you know what I mean? Go running right after I graduated. So I knew that TCNJ would be that place to give me a job right away, right after I graduated. So that's pretty much why I chose TCNJ, is that I knew that there'd be so many wonderful opportunities for employment post-college.
So TCNJ was actually not my first choice, but I really wanted to go out of state. Like I wanted to be as far away from home as possible. But then I got into the honors program and I did get like a scholarship too. And I came to campus and I don't even think I went on to the actual campus. I was just in Campus Town and I got like a feeling that I liked this place. But even just like walking out of Trenton Hall, like I just saw how beautiful the campus was. People were really nice. They were friendly. They were willing to talk to you about things. And then ever since I've been here, I have gotten opportunities, like Alyssa said, that I didn't think I would ever get in a college experience. Like getting an internship after your freshman year is virtually unheard of at any other institution. But at TCNJ, they really have those opportunities for you, and they really prepare you to actually take advantage of those opportunities when you get them. So I definitely have not regretted going to TCNJ, and I enjoy being here.
I'm the same as each year, except my feelings towards TCNJ was a little like I think TCNJ for me was like my last choice. I don't know if anyone's in the same boat. I committed May 1st. It wasn't because of anything TCNJ had. It was more so I have a twin brother, like I said before. I also have an older brother that went to TCNJ, and I knew that I did not want to be in his shadow. I knew I didn't want to come to TCNJ and be known as little sister. That was me all throughout high school. They would be like, oh, you're Byron's sister, aren't you? And I knew I didn't want that. I thought I wanted like a bigger field, like a bigger campus. I wanted to go out of state. But then same thing as each year, my brother dragged me to TCNJ one day and was like, please just reconsider, please just take a look at the campus. So we walked around the campus, and at the end, I decided to come to TCNJ because both my parents were sending both my brother and myself to college, and I knew that TCNJ was relatively close to them, so that if I needed to help them out with anything, I could go home and help them out. But it was also financially the best choice because they gave me scholarship. They were cheaper compared to obviously the other out-of-state private colleges that I applied to. And I think that looking back at it, I definitely regret not even I did end up going to TCNJ, but I think my biggest regret was thinking so much that I didn't want to go to TCNJ, because TCNJ has literally given me every single opportunity that I could have ever looked for in a college career. I got to study abroad, I got to do internships, I got to help hold leadership positions. I got to do things that a lot of people do not get to do in their college career. And I think that that's something amazing about TCNJ, that they have just as much to offer as any other college that you're looking at. I think the only difference is they really give you an opportunity, and you are not competing with a lot of people for opportunities. Like, you're not competing with graduate level students for opportunities. And I think that's what really makes TCNJ unique, that if the opportunity is there, like, you're able to get it. It's just all on you.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going off of what Patty was saying, I think for me, it was kind of similar in the sense that I kind of wanted to stay close to home, because this is a little different of what she was saying, but it was almost daunting for me to want to go out of state. I don't know. It was like, that's kind of like, if something happens, if I want to come home, like it's too far for me, even though similar to Suchir at that moment graduating, I did want to take a step and get away. But as my peers had said, like, TCNJ has so many opportunities for you. And I think the reason I was so drawn to it was I ended up graduating from a smaller private school. So my first 2 years of high school, I went to my local public high school. I had like 400 kids in my grade. But then I ended up transferring to a smaller private school, and I graduated with 60 something in my grade. And that was like such a culture shock for me at first. And I didn't really like it. But then the more I was there, the more I felt like, okay, like the professors, the teachers in my high school knew me better. I had like such a nice small group of friends. I had more opportunities on the sports team, stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of translate my high school experiences, what those benefits were, to college. And TCNJ being a smaller school, I felt like I was going to be able to get those opportunities. Like, there was this sales competition, AT&T sales competition. That's how I heard about my internship. Basically, there were 30 schools, and each team had like 6 people on it. And after I got chosen for it and we went through the competition and had a great time, I was thinking, if I was at a bigger school like Rutgers, it definitely would have been way harder for me to get chosen to be on this team. And would I have even been on the team? I don't know. So definitely those thoughts came to my mind as well. Just, you have so many opportunities being at a small school, and being able to be recognized. A lot of my professors do know me by my first name. I've had mentorship opportunities through that. And that's kind of stuff that I question. I don't know if it would be impossible at a bigger school, but I don't know if I would have had kind of the same opportunities that I did at TCNJ.
Great, thank you. Okay, last question before we start tackling some of the ones that have been coming in. Where is your favorite place? I mean, I miss campus so much. I know y'all do too. But what was your favorite place to either eat or study on campus?
Well, I also very much miss campus. It makes me very sad that I'm here at home and not there. But I'm gonna hit you with a double whammy, because favorite place to eat and study is the Education Cafe. I think that's super cool. TCNJ to not only have places to eat in good places to study, because we also have the STEM forum, like the big STEM building now, as well as the Lib, or the library also has a little cafe. But Education Cafe, there's so many good people to catch up with. All your ed major friends are pretty much in the same place. And it's also a great place to grab a coffee and a bagel, because coffee sometimes is necessary in college. So definitely one of my favorite places to be on campus, as well as study and eat on campus.
My favorite place is actually the STEM building. I'm not a STEM major, but I like to go on the second floor right across from the robotics lab. It's like a small study room, and everything is like glass walls, so you can like see outside. But when I get like bored of my homework, I like stare at the robotics labs, and there's like these giant robots that I have no clue what they're used for. But I think it's a very like a peaceful place. It's quiet, and it's a very beautiful building. So I would definitely feel very productive in there.
My favorite place to study on campus is the Social Sciences atrium. I don't know if anyone's been on a tour at TCNJ, but usually if you do go on a tour, you do go into the social sciences atrium. I enjoy studying there because it makes studying a little less miserable when you're surrounded by a really pretty environment. And I just like how the sun comes in. It does put me in a better mood sometimes, and it makes studying a little less, like I said before, a little less miserable.
Yeah, I think this is super tough because I really like the choices that they all gave. I think one place I really love about TCNJ to chill, to study is Alumni Grove. So in between the library and Ike is like there's a bunch of picnic tables, and when the weather's really nice, I remember like one of the few weeks, I forget what day it was, but before like the coronavirus happened and everything, there were so many people out there. Whenever the weather's nice, people just flock to Alumni Grove and hang out. It does get kind of loud sometimes because people bring speakers and everyone's just there with their friends, and it's super social. But sometimes for me, I don't always like studying in like the fourth floor of the library where it's super quiet. I need to just like have people around me so I'm more productive almost, in a sense. I'm like, okay, I got to get my stuff done. So I'll just throw my headphones in over there. But it's just such a nice place to be around your friends, and it's a great social space on campus for sure.
Awesome. All right. So a handful of questions, maybe not necessarily specific, but I thought that it would be nice to chat for a little bit about just kind of life at TCNJ, nights, weekends, like what things to do. We have a couple of out-of-staters on the call tonight. We always get that, like, you're a suitcase school, like, does everybody go home on the weekends because most people are from New Jersey kind of thing. We get a lot of those questions. So does anybody kind of want to chat about, you all lived mostly, okay, so 3 of you lived on campus your first year. Alden, you commuted and then moved on to campus sophomore year, and then some of you now have bounced off, some of you have stayed on. But do you want to talk just really quickly, one or two of you, about kind of what campus life is like nights and weekends, kind of when you're outside of class and you're not studying?
I was about to say, I'll jump in for that one. So no, I wouldn't say that TCNJ is a suitcase school. It really depends on the person. Personally, I was the opposite. I pretty much tried to stay on campus as much as I could. And yet again, like I said, I would rather be there right now. But there are plenty of opportunities and things to do around campus. One of the things that campus does really well is a thing called Recreate Your Nights. I'm pretty sure it's on Tuesday, Fridays, and Saturdays. It's a few times a week, and there's a bunch of activities that they do. I know one thing that I'm like kind of staring off into the distance because it's behind me. I did a paint and eat, which was they gave us cookies and they let us paint. They like did a like paint and sip kind of idea without the sipping part. It was just chocolate chip cookies. So little things like that and different activities to do that aren't necessarily, going out or doing stuff like that. So there were plenty of opportunities and plenty of things to do around campus. I was really never bored. And especially if you do eventually get involved with things on campus, you really have so many different opportunities and so many different things to do on campus that, you'll probably want to stay at campus more than go home.
I was just gonna piggyback off real quick. Like, obviously, this is a college campus. Obviously, there are people that do go out and do go to parties. So, like, if that's what you're looking for, like, you'll be able to find it. But there are so many other things to do besides all that stuff. I live an hour and a half away on a good day, back to my house, and I never ever went home on the weekends. And that's because, like, I really had a fear of missing out what was going on at TCNJ. Like, there's so many things to do. We have something called the College Union Board. It's an organization dedicated to just programming for the College of New Jersey and for students. And they have like guest lectures. We have speakers come in. We have our fall concert. We have Funival, which is when they bring an entire carnival to lot 5 and 6 of TCNJ. They have random things and really fun things to do on the weekends and even on weekdays. And there's so many things to do. Like Alyssa touched on before, there's something for everyone. So if you're not, like going to a carnival isn't your thing, then we have things like, spiritual groups will have stuff, and like religious groups will have stuff. So there's so many different things to do on campus, and there's so many types of events as well.
thing to kind of chat about is just, so we did a webinar on Saturday for student just like living on campus, right? So there were a lot of just kind of general logistical questions about that, but there were some questions that have come up about, roommates and what it's like living in the residence halls. So do one or two of you want to touch a little bit on that as well? How many of you, show of hands, were good with your roommate first year? Honest. Okay, iffy. How many of you were not good with your roommates? All right, so maybe why don't you talk a little bit about that and how you navigated that piece, because I know that there's a lot of concern. I think the statistic is that chances are most people don't come into college having ever had to share a room before, period, and then let alone they're doing it usually with somebody that they don't know very well. So why don't you talk a little bit about living on campus in general, or if you want, a quick story about that roommate situation and how you worked to navigate it for the rest of that first year.
Yeah, so I didn't. Oh my God, my dog just jumped off my bed. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really have a great roommate experience my first year. My roommate actually dropped out after like the first semester. But it was like we were different people. I was like really clean and organized all the time, and he was really messy, so it just didn't work out. But I found that I didn't really spend that much time in my room anyways freshman year, because I was just like spending time with friends. I was doing like student organization stuff, and like even Centennial Hall, like we had this thing like we leave our doors open, so to always like go to other people's rooms and like hang out with them. So I think that even if you have a roommate situation where you are like not necessarily getting along, your community advisors are always there to support you and help you work through any conflicts. But if it really is a situation where like you just can't get past it, you do spend a lot of time outside of your room anyways, and you do find other people that you get to like spend most of your days and nights with. And then like your sophomore year, you can choose your roommates, so it won't really like, be as much of an issue. And then you get to see like what kind of person you are in a dorm versus the kind of person you are at home. But I think that like even if you have a situation where it's not ideal, there's definitely ways to circumvent that.
I was about to say, I'll add on to that just to piggyback on what Suchir's saying. Like, yeah, your roommate might not be your like bestest friend ever at college, but honestly, like there are going to be people on your floor, because you'll be doing your FSP, your freshman program, your class you'll be taking with some of the people on your floor, and just that class. I know for me personally, I took dance as mine. Totally, I don't think it's offered anymore, but something that I know I did for my whole life before college. So although my roommate wasn't necessarily in that FSP class with me, I was able to meet so many other people on my floor that I got really close with, and to this day still live with. So there are people that are around you that live with you if you're not totally buddy with your roommate. And there are plenty of times that you can go and hang out with them. I know I lived in the towers. So for the most part, like Suchir had said, all of our doors were open 24/7, unless I was asleep, because that's when I would close my door. But for the most part, like I was always having people in my room, like anybody was welcome kind of idea. And I totally recommend that when living in the freshman dorms as well.
Okay, and then Patty, you said you were lukewarm on your roommate?
My roommate, I came in with the misconception that my best friends for the rest of my life was going to be my roommate. You've seen like, I don't know, it was like Zoe 101 or like random shows like that. Like I thought my roommate was going to be my best friend. And so I knew my roommate beforehand. No, I didn't, we were random, but we talked beforehand, and I thought like this could be great. But we got there and we realized like we were completely different people. Like I wanted to join Greek life. I wanted to venture out and join a bunch of different organizations. She was a bio major, so she really wanted to study a lot. She really wanted to join organizations pertaining to bio. So we kind of just branched off, and we just didn't really get along in the sense of like we respected each other's space. We respected each other, but it just wasn't. I felt like I was forcing us to be friends because I kept thinking like, oh my God, we have to be best friends. But at the end of the day, like Alyssa's completely right. Like there are so many more opportunities to meet your best friends. There's so many opportunities to meet your group of people in your community, even if it's not freshman year. Like I know a lot of my friends met their best friends like sophomore year or junior year. It does take a while for you to come in, and yeah, there are going to be some people that are like, my best friend is my roommate, right? And of course you're always going to be like, oh, like what's wrong with me? Like why didn't I have that? But you're going to find your niche, you're going to find your people, and that just takes time. And like Suchir said before, like the person that you come and live with freshman year doesn't necessarily have to be the person you live with for sophomore, junior, and senior year.
I love that point. All summer long, when you get communications from me and I'm helping assist you through the process of kind of coming to TCNJ, I can't stress that point enough. You know, so many students come in to welcome week thinking, okay, my roommate is going to be like my new best friend forever, or I have to find my roommate or my best friends on like the first day of college or the third day of college. And when I always poll and we do training with my new orientation leaders that are coming in, so many of them are like, ugh, like they put the same pressure and expectations on themselves. And it took, you know, it was, some of them did. Okay, fine. You know, they're out there. Those stories exist, but so many more people found their people a little bit later on. So whether it was that first semester, second semester, I know I'm ancient. I went to college a long time ago, but for me, it was sophomore year, spring semester. And I had other friends. I had an okay roommate, but that was when I really found like my group and I found my people. So I really try to stress home to the students, like, just let go of the expectations that you're going to have that all figured out. Same along the roommate thing. So we've got a lot of questions coming in real quick on, you know, are you random or can you pick a roommate? So you do have the opportunity to find somebody else in the class and come in and request for that person to be your roommate for the first year. Just be careful doing that. All right. A lot of times, first of all, you get a little housing questionnaire that gives you like 4 or 5 questions on who you are, right? Are you, so Suchir's point, messier, maybe a little bit cleaner? Do you study very late at night and you're better at night? Or are you a morning person and you're up at the crack of dawn? Some of those just kind of general basic personality questions so that we can do our best to pair you up if you're choosing not to select somebody coming in. Don't lie on that. All right, because my panelists from Saturday with the webinar, with the housing webinar, 2 of them had major roommate issues their first year, and both of their roommates, one of them outright just admitted, I lied on it, right? Because they put and answered the questions based on how they thought they were going to be in college. They were like, okay, I'm gonna go to college, and I'm gonna be like a morning person in college, even though I'm not a morning person now. And guess what? When you get here, you're not gonna be a morning person in college if you're not a morning person now, right? So don't lie, just fill it out honestly. It'll give you the best chances to get paired with somebody that you're actually going to be compatible with, who may or may not end up being a good friend. If you do choose to want to find somebody and like the rando thing is not your style, just be really mindful of social media. Don't do the thing that I hate that not everybody does, but that people can do, where you're just like making all these snap judgments on the persona that somebody's putting out there, because we know that life is all beautiful, right, on social media, and you know, you're wearing the rose-colored glasses and that there's other stuff behind the scenes. So if you're going that route, just try to make a genuine effort to kind of get to know the person and ask the types of questions to see, like, are you really going to be a good fit to room with? But you will have an opportunity to request that. That leads me, I know we started a couple minutes late, so we might be able to take 1 or 2 more questions, but I really want to stress, if you haven't done so already, the virtual Accepted Students Day website, and somebody in my admissions team, if you can just throw the link out in the group chat. It has all of these webinars and presentations and infographics and things that the departments have put together, both student affairs as well as the academic side of the house, for you to be able to kind of get information and start to get some questions answered about that decision on whether or not to come to TCNJ. Included in the virtual ASD website is my presentation. All right. It's the one that I always give to students and families at Accepted Students Day. I was heartbroken that I couldn't do it this year. I had basically presented to a 320 seat concert hall with nobody there except for me. It was really depressing, but I'm there. It's 33 minutes. All right. So did a little research on Gen Z. You have an 8-second attention span for videos. It means that you're going to have to come back to my video about 257 times. All right. Trust me. Take some breaks if you need to. It's 33 minutes, but it's really good. It's going to walk you through the entire summer. It's going to everything address that you're coming down the pike from my office and supporting you in your transition to the college. Good use of time. pull in parent A or parent B or parent C or whoever you need in your room, your people, to be able to help you, kind of support you in that process. But that link is on the website. It's also, I don't know if I did, I posted it on my website yesterday. Also, I've been recording this one, so we'll put that on there as well. And then if there's, additional questions that you have that we didn't get a chance to answer tonight, or if you really want to connect with somebody in particular to get some specific questions on campus, about campus answered from a student who's been in that boat, shoot me an email. I'm at studenttransitions@tcnj.edu. I'll throw that in the group chat as well, or if one of my colleagues can do that. And we'll try to get you connected, especially if you are really on the fence and really it could make a difference in terms of deciding where you're going to go to school. So it's 9:01. There's just never enough time. It always goes so fast. But I just want to say thank you so much to all of the panelists, my students who joined me tonight, especially because 3 of you are seniors. And I'm just, I'm always sad this time of year that you're leaving my office after years of getting to know you and watching you just grow into these amazing humans. But to not be able to do it in person just really stinks. But thank you for hopping on and for sharing your experience. And thank you so much for everybody who submitted questions, for the admission staff who was here, and for all of you for joining us. I hope that you got something out of it. And again, if you can think of any questions that we can help answer here, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. But otherwise, if you are joining us in the fall, I know it's not ideal right now, but we are just so excited that you're coming, and there's so many good things coming down the pike for you, in the short term, but certainly over the course of the next few years that you're going to get to be aligned with us. So thank you. And if you ultimately, I will say this, if you decide not to come, good luck. We really I would genuinely wish you the best. We want, you to be able to find your fit and find that niche. And for those of you who end up being in our class of 2024, we can't wait to meet you soon. So thank you again. Have a great night, and we'll see you on campus at some point. Take care.